Many women believe that the biggest thing that's really holding them back in their love life from attracting a really healthy, amazing masculine man is how they look. They believe that because they're not gorgeous, they're not a 9, they're not a 10 if we're going to do a radiant scale, they're not incredibly fit, that they're not going to be able to attract the kind of man that they want. Let's get really real for a moment. And we're going to talk about how that's not actually true shortly. There is a part of that that is true that we got to address first. And then we'll talk about what's actually much more important. So yes, looks do matter. Of course they matter. Men are very visual. Men are going to be looking for a woman, for the most part, that is physically attractive, that is reasonably fit, though there's going to be some variation there as far as a man's preferences. Looking for a man that, it's basically a genetic thing. Like, this woman is going to be able to produce healthy children for me. Whether she actually does or not, or whether he's actually looking for that is different. That's what his body is telling him. So looks, of course, are important. And when you're meeting a man, whether that's online or offline, of course you want to look presentable. Of course you want to be reasonably fit. Of course you want to look reasonably attractive. Do what you can. Of course there's going to be limitations, and you got to just accept that and be okay if you didn't hit the genetic lottery, as most women didn't. But what most women are missing, because they're so focused on looks, they believe that is basically almost the only thing that matters to a man. There's something that matters in some ways more, depending on what your looks are. So I'll give you a few examples shortly. You're missing something really important, and that is your level of feminine embodiment. What's missing is your feminine energy, your flow, your softness, how much you're letting go of control. Also, how much you're in your feminine self-worth. We're going to be talking about what some of these things mean in a moment. This is what a masculine man is really looking for, and it's going to be what's the most important thing sustainably in a relationship, because, of course, looks are going to fade to an extent. Feminine energy can actually deepen and get better over time. What happens in a lot of relationships is a man and woman go into it, but they're missing the polarity. It might be really attractive and hot and heavy at first just because of the honeymoon period, but when that wears out, if you're not truly in your feminine, you don't know how to stay in your feminine, that relationship's not going to work out very well. There's going to be a lot of communication issues, and it's going to end up being a disaster. Before meeting a man, like when you're first meeting a man, of course you want to meet a attractive masculine man, right? A man who knows how to lead, a man who knows how to take charge, a man who's solid in his boundaries, a man who's able to hold space for your feelings, a man who's not going to let you manipulate him, control him in any way, a man where you feel safe to let go with. You can feel his integrity, you can feel his power, and you can also feel his heart. That's the kind of man that you want. And looks will help with that, because men like that, of course, they're going to have a lot of options. Right? They're going to have they can pretty much pick from any woman that they want. So if you want that kind of man, you need to be in the top, let's say 5% certainly of women. You don't think you can do that? Pretty much any woman can do that. Not necessarily with looks, of course, because there's going to be more physical limitations. You can only become so fit, there's practical limitations there. But with your feminine energy, you can always become more feminine if you choose to. And you have to choose to for you. You can't choose to do it to attract a man, because that's not going to work. Because if you're focused on that, then you're actually focused on getting an outcome. Then ironically, you're actually in your masculine energy as you do that. You're never going to be feminine enough in that way. It's going to be more of a costume. You have to choose to be more feminine for yourself because you want to be more feminine. Right? It's the same thing for a man. If a man is focused on becoming more masculine, being a better leader, to get women, and especially to get laid, it's not that it can't work. And I've done that before, way before I got married. It can work, it's just not going to work nearly as well as it could when it's truly real, when a man decides to be masculine for himself. Right? Like that's where I am today in my marriage. It's like, I want to become the most masculine man I can be for me, because that's how I develop. That's how I become a better man. Of course, I want to do it for my wife as well, because I want to make her happy. That's going to be part of the masculine instinct, I want to provide that for my wife. But it has to be for me first. And for a woman, that's much more important that you're doing it for you. So you check in with yourself. Do you want to be more feminine? What does that mean? Well, for a large part, that means letting go of control. Let's do a few examples here. When you are with a man, where are you holding on to control? how are you trying to control him? And you can look at this early on, like early dating, and then also in a serious relationship. How are you trying to control him to get your needs met? Now, for many women, that might be more of the boss babe approach, especially later on, like nagging, judging, kind of telling them what to do, asking them lots of questions. Why is this not happening? Which isn't going to work. That's all problematic. What women tend to do a lot more, and I see this a lot more in my academy program for women, is women who are trying to control a man's perceptions of her to try to get her needs met. So that might look like doing what a man wants, even though it doesn't really feel good for you. But you're doing it because you don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to be abandoned. So that's very common. Another really common thing, the most common thing actually, is staying silent when you've got an unmet need, when you're feeling hurt or anxious in some kind of way, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling angry. You don't speak up, you don't share what's going on. So you're not wearing your heart on your sleeve, you're not communicating all your needs. Your man can't really feel you all the time because you're holding that back. You might be initiating, I'm trying to make things happen because the man's not stepping up. You might be mothering, going into reminding and being helpful, trying to do things, being supportive without him asking you. Many possibilities like that. All of those are control patterns. All of that is masculine energy. All of that is cutting you off from your feminine energy. Do you want to be able to let all of that go and just be? If you're connected to your feminine instinct in any way, your answer is probably going to be yes. You want to be able to just let go. Well, why are you holding on to all that stuff then? It's because you've been trained, you've been taught unconsciously mostly. That's what you need to do to stay safe, to avoid being abandoned, to get your needs met, to attract a man. And none of that is true. It's the opposite of true for a masculine man, right? For a healthy masculine man that you want to attract, or if you're in a relationship and you want to bring that out in a man, what he wants is your femininity. He wants you to be letting go of all control. And again, that doesn't mean be a doormat, right? Because one of the control patterns is complying with the man's leadership even when it doesn't feel good. Healthy feminine women, they're not complying. They're not going along with the man's leadership when it doesn't feel good. That doesn't mean they'll resist, because resistance is another control pattern. It means that they're going to use feminine communication to communicate what they're experiencing, what they're feeling in their bodies when a man is trying to lead them to do something, or communicating his desires for her to do something when it doesn't feel right for her. It's going to share her fear, share her anger, her irritation, her sadness, whatever it is. Share the block there, share the disconnect there from a place of openness. That's what letting go is. Most women are stuck in either I have to resist or I have to comply, kind of like a fawning pattern, and dishonor my heart and avoid sharing my needs. You don't have to do either of those things. Not when you're letting go, not when you learn how to communicate in a feminine way. When you learn how to do this, when you learn how to communicate in this way and just show up in this way in general, guess what happens? You become irresistible to healthy masculine men. Because think about this for a moment. What kind of man do you really want? I talked a few minutes ago about masculine men, right? A man who is leading in his integrity, he's in his power, he's devoted, his heart's fully open, he's leading you with care, he's holding space for you. That probably feels naturally attractive to you, right? Like if you found a man who was really like that, really solid, you'd be all over him. You'd want to do pretty much anything for him, right? It's like, you tell me what to do? Yes, sir, okay. Well, guess what? The flip side is also true for a masculine man when he meets a really feminine embodied woman who's not trying to control his perceptions or his behaviors in any way, but she's also fully in her self-worth. She knows who she is. She knows how to communicate her needs and feelings. She's fully tapped into her heart. She's fully vulnerable. Those women are rare. They're very rare. I've met lots of women in my life. They're very rare, okay? You can become that. And that is who you are. That is who you are underneath your fears. Underneath any shame and self-judgment, that is exactly who you are. Right now, you operate as someone that you're not. You're not fully 100% being you, right? Every time you avoid sharing a need or a feeling or a problem you're experiencing with the man, so it's like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to upset him. I don't want him to think that I'm too much or whatever. I'll just go along and do this thing that he wants. Every time you do that, you're not being you. You're being a costume that you've created for yourself to stay safe. And whenever you do that, you're repelling the kind of masculine devotion that you need and deserve. If you can embody that feminine energy, then looks become secondary. Looks become secondary because you're giving so much more. You're giving a man something that the most beautiful, physically beautiful woman on the planet cannot give him. which is being a feminine woman in her self-worth. It's like overflowing with self-worth, with this beautiful energy that he just loves, he can't get enough of, and giving him that full respect as the leader at the same time. Almost no man on earth is getting that right now. And I don't just mean in the West, I mean anywhere. Because even in non-Western countries, what do you got? You got a lot of women, I'm kind of generalizing here, but you got a lot of women who are actually not in their self-worth at all. They're submissive, like they'll do what a man wants, but they're actually dishonoring their hearts, and they've been so deeply conditioned to dishonor their hearts that they're not even aware of it. They don't know how to communicate their needs vulnerably. Again, I'm generalizing. They don't know feminine communication. They're living for a man's needs, just like how women would live, in the 1920s before feminism. That's not what I'm teaching you to do. And that's not what is going to inspire a masculine man to give you the world and to claim you as his woman. It's not going to inspire the kind of men that could have any kind of woman, including the really, really drop-dead gorgeous ones. If you want to be able to compete, I don't like that word for women because it's very masculine, but it is a dating marketplace, so you are competing essentially. If you want to be able to compete, you do what you can with your looks, and then you become the most feminine woman that you can possibly be, and you do it for you. We're going to talk about what's actually possible if you do that in a moment. I want to open your mind to this more, help you understand what you can accomplish, what you can have if you have any kind of limiting belief around this. We got to decondition your mind if you don't realize what's possible for you. I'm going to do that in a moment. First, I'm going to introduce myself because I still haven't yet. My name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy patterns, that all the stuff that's repelling the kind of devotion that you need, the masculine men that you need if you're single, then go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link to my main website, relationshipyourdreams.com. You click on that, you watch the video at the top, and there is going to be a free training in that website that you can download, okay? And it's going to help you understand so much more of what I'm talking about. It's going to really outline what our process is that we use with our clients to help them shift, which you can work with us, of course, and use that process. You can also use that process alone. You don't have to work with us. It's harder. Of course, it's going to be harder, but you can implement that process yourself and make these same shifts. Absolutely. And I'm giving that to you for free. So go get that. relationshipyourdreams.com. Okay. So what's possible for you? Understand that your beliefs, to a large extent, are creating your reality all the time. My beliefs are creating my reality. We're all co-creating realities together. Now, if you have a belief that your looks are what is going to attract or repel a man, it's like that's the most important thing. That's basically the only thing. And I offer him sex and some other stuff, but that's what your self-worth is based on primarily. And you're only, say, a 6 or 7 or whatever, if we're going to do a number rating here, keep it really simple, you're going to believe, okay, I can't really attract a masculine man. And what's going to happen is, because your self-worth isn't online enough, you're probably not going to even be attracting masculine men, especially as you get into your 30s and 40s. And then you're going to think, okay, there are no masculine men, or at least they're all married and they're all gone. And now you're stuck being single. And it's actually your belief about yourself, your limiting belief about your self-worth and what it's based on, that is co-creating a reality that is coming back to you and reflecting to you where it's like, I'm not worthy of a masculine man. Because that's deep down what you believe because of how your self-worth is structured. Now, when you start to shift that, one of the things that's going to shift, a big part of what's going to shift, is you're going to realize, wait a minute, okay, yeah, looks are important. I'm going to do what I can with looks, but it's my energy. It's how I show up with a man, in my femininity, in my flow, in how I respect a man, how vulnerable I am with a man, how honest and radically real I am with a man, that actually matters more. I can be a 6.5 and attract like the most amazing man in the world because I'm offering him something that other women are not. When you believe that on all levels, first of all, you're not going to be able to believe that on all levels until you've actually achieved it, until you're actually embodied. Right? You can't just tell yourself that in the mirror and then believe it when you're not actually there. And you know how you're going to know? Right? If you're not actually attracting that right now, then you're not there. That's how you know it. Well, to an extent, because a perfect 10 could be attracting those really masculine men. as well, but it's not going to be sustainable. The devotion's not going to be sustainable. No man, even a really healthy masculine man, he's not going to remain devoted to a woman who's not in her feminine self-worth, no matter how attractive she is. It's not possible. So even if a woman is able to attract a man like that, she's not going to be able to keep him. And that kind of matters, right? It's like you might want to sleep with her, but he's not going to want to cherish her. He's not going to want to take care of her. So that belief is going to shift as you shift your behaviors. As you start letting go of control, you start communicating in a more vulnerable, feminine way, in the way that I teach, using feminine communication. You stop enabling a man's unhealthy behaviors. You stop settling for less. You stop allowing a man to polarize you into the masculine role. Like he kind of lets you lead because he's lazy or whatever. Many things that a man can do. You stop all of that. You shift fully into your feminine. As you do that, you start seeing more positive responses from a man. And as you see that, you start to believe more and more that your belief strengthens that, wait a minute, it's my femininity that matters. It's my energy that matters. And my energy is becoming more feminine. So your worth is starting to come more in line, especially as you start communicating your needs more and more. And as you do that, that belief gets strengthened, and then guess what happens? Your belief starts attracting a new reality to you. A reality where more masculine men are wanting to be with you, wanting to claim you, coming into your life, and taking care of you, or wanting to take care of you. This is a process. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. But this is 100% possible for you if you want it, right? And the flip side, just to really understand every side of this, imagine a man who believes that all of his value is tied up in his money. Because for men, it's more about money. For women, it's more about looks. That's just the way it is. So he believes all of his worth is tied up in his money. Let's say he doesn't have a ton of it. He only has $80,000 in the bank account. He's not multi-millionaire. How much is he going to be in his self-worth? And what happens if he loses his money too, right? It's because all of his worth is tied up just in his money. So he's not going to be able to show up in a relationship in a really healthy masculine way in his self-worth because his worth is tied to something that he doesn't really have much of. He doesn't realize that his worth is much more intrinsic. It's coming from his leadership, which he can fully cultivate. It's coming from his masculine energy that he can fully exhibit if he learns how. So it's the same thing for you as a woman. You can become as feminine as you want to be if you choose that. And I'm here to help you do it. I'm here to lead you to do it. Now I do that on these videos. Every video I give you is a little piece of this puzzle, showing you how to shift a little bit more, understanding what you need to do. If you want as much support as possible, if you want to make these shifts happen as quickly as you can make them, great, I would love to help you. That's what we do for our clients in our academy program, where me and my coaching team will actually lead you through this process. We'll show you how to show up differently. We'll show you how to communicate differently. We'll lovingly correct you when you make mistakes. We'll show you how to let go of control. We'll show you how to fully feel. We'll show you how to communicate your needs and feelings vulnerably. All of those control patterns that are keeping you stuck, will help you shift that with us. And we'll help you shift it in your love life, whether you're single or in a relationship. If you're interested in finding out more about that and seeing if it makes sense to work with me, great. Go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link to all of my offers. It's relationshipofyourdreams.com. And right there on the main page, you can book a call with me. You click the button to book a call. We'll get on a call, and it's 100% free as long as you're interested in potentially working with us. If it makes sense, we'll talk all about what you're going through, what you're experiencing, how you're stuck, how men are treating you, or if you're single, then what you're not getting, what kind of men you are getting, what experiences you have, why that's happening. We'll break down what you're doing to co-create that situation. I've talked to over 1,000 women on these calls. I have no idea, but definitely over 1,000. Now I can tell you really quickly in a short period of time what you're doing wrong and what you need to do to shift. And then just from that, you'll have a much better roadmap of what you need to do. Even if it turns out that we're not right for each other, that's fine. You can at least use that and make these shifts happen much faster. If you are right for working with us and you want to do it, and you can ask us any question or ask me any questions you have, and I answer those questions and you're like, yeah, I want to do it, then great. We can work together. We can help you create that relationship of your dreams. But that all comes down to a choice. You got to choose, I want to do this. You got to choose, I'm worth doing this. You got to choose that you can actually have this faith that you can become this woman. And yeah, it's scary. It's really scary. And it's possible for you if you choose to take action. So if that's you, book that call. Go to the website, Relationship Your Dreams. Book the call with me. We'll talk. You might cry. We'll have a good time no matter what. Then you can make that decision for yourself. That's it for this one. If that's you, I will see you on that call.